Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Tonight is going to be really fun, and when I say fun, meaning it's going to be a nice, free-flowing conversation with this one sister who is very fun to talk to, yet she has a story. You never know what people go through, but we will talk about that right after this intro.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic. Melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. This is a podcast about mental health and awareness and wellness and everything that encompasses our community. Because, we can relate to each other how we can. So before we get started, some housekeeping. Please make sure like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel because it really helps podcasters. And the more you like and share this content, the more YouTube will say, hey, she has a really good podcast. Let me keep showing it to people on YouTube because there's healing in the conversation. And you're going to hear that again in this conversation. All right. Also, if this is the replay, make sure please type replay in the comments so that I know that where you're coming from. Type whatever city, state, country you're coming from. Let me know. All right, we're going to get right into it. I have a wonderful guest in the background, and I'm going to bring her in. Look, before I do that, you all have to get ready. This sister has a lot of energy, and it's a capital E energy. Are you ready? Look at her. Look at her. Look at her.
Ooh, I'm in the background like getting excited.
Oh, wait. This is one of my favorite. Hey, Patrice.
Hey,
That's Patrice.
Hey, Patrice.
Oh my God, I haven't seen her in so long. She was one of another guest I had on last season, and she has great energy too. Beautiful voice. Okay, Jacqui, how are you, love?
I am outstanding. Outstanding. How are you?
I'm well. You look outstanding.
Thank you. Look, I'm trying to do it like this, right?
Girl.
But I can't see.
I tried. And we both gonna look like this squinting.
I have to put them on. I gotta put them on. So excuse the glare. We're gonna learn how to get rid of that glare, and it might go down as the sun goes down. But yeah, we just y'all have to work with it. Look, I got eyes though,
and they're so pretty. So I'm gonna put my eyeballs on.
Thank you.
How was your day today?
Thank you so much for having me. Can I share right quick?
Girl, please. This is our hour of power.
I gotta tell your people. I just gotta tell your people.
Come closer to the microphone, love.
Can you hear me?
Yes, much better.
Okay, good. All right, y'all getting off face. Okay. So I just have to just tell your listeners how much of a blessing you have been to me and helping me. Y'all, boy, you can give her flowers today, boo. When I tell you this girl pushed me into, she made me uncomfortable. She pushed me. And because of you, I am moving. It's coming along. My podcast is coming along. My 501c3 is starting to come along. I'm getting the business incorporated. Like Ursula, she did that. That's all I got to say. She did that, y'all. I just had to give her her little flowers right quick before she jumps into whatever she's going to ask me, because I don't know. But I just had to give her flowers right quick so you guys know how much of a blessing this woman has been to me. Okay, go ahead, Ursula.
Thank you so much. But you did the work. Trust me. You did the work and you were open. And I am so proud of you. You made that happen very quickly.
That's because you pushed me like, okay, what date you going to do? I was like, oh, a date. Like, you going to make me pick a date? Okay. So I picked the date. You pushed it July 6th, and it's been going ever since. So, yes.
It really has been going. And I'm very proud of you. We're going to talk about your podcast. So let me tell the listeners how you and I met. Apparently, we have 2 mutual friends. I had no idea. And 2 people that I absolutely adore. And so Jacqui called me out of the blue. Didn't know her, but we had that mutual. Oh, let's give Lisa Marie some credit and her congratulations on her winning. What is it?
County Solicitor General for Gwinnett County.
Yes, and thank you everyone who voted for her. So that's what the referral. That's how it came to fruition, and Jacqui and I went full steam ahead. And once Jacqui told me her story, and this is the thing, Jacqui did not know that I also was is a mental health advocate.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know all I knew is Lisa Marie said, you need to call her. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. And so as we were speaking, that just happened to come out in the conversation. And then when I heard Jacqui's story, I asked her if she could be one of my special guests. And here we are a month later on August 3rd.
Yeah, exactly. Like almost exactly 1 month later, too, because my podcast did start on a Wednesday. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So actually about a month later. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I had to get some room to get in on your podcast, but I'm here now. So we ready.
Yeah, we're ready. So one thing, your audio was a little crackly whenever you speak. So I don't know maybe a little too.
You think I'm too close, far?
Maybe.
You know, I have to use this little iPad now instead of my computer with my great microphone.
I know. I'm sorry.
But how does it sound? Is it a little bit better?
Yeah, it sounds great. It's just whenever you talk, it's a little crackly.
Okay, we'll try to work on that.
We'll work through it.
Yeah,
because we're on a mission for mental health.
We are definitely on a mission.
We're going to power through it. So it's fine. Okay. All right. So anyways, that's how Jacqui and I met. And I titled this podcast Story Time. You never know, because you never know what people go through at all. And it's curveballs. So you want to tell us about how your social media presence was before your curveball? Because from my understanding, a lot of people were always engaged with you on Facebook.
Right. So so I'm always doing a live. Like I'm always, I don't know, I'll just one day drive down the street and get this little bug that says go live, and I'm driving and I'm live and people jump on. I'm like, people actually sit here and watch me? You know, you guys really sit here and listen to what I got to say? But people do. And so I do it all the time. And people used to always say, oh my gosh, you need a YouTube channel. You need a YouTube channel. And what I was doing was, I always told one of my good girlfriends, her name is Dana Green. She keeps my hair red.
Oh, I know her too. No, I'm joking.
I'm about to say, what?
I'm joking.
So Dana, you know, I was sitting in the salon and it was New Year's, and I'm like, you know what? This year I'm going to go ahead and start that YouTube channel that everyone keeps saying I need to start. But I want to be funny on my channel because I'm a funny person. I'm lively. I love to cut up.
Very much so.
And my YouTube channel was going to be about like Wendy Williams. I was going to talk about people, you know, just have me a good old time on there. But every time I tried to start it, I never could because I kept getting this voice telling me while I'm asleep, you're going to talk about mental health. And I'm like, no, I'm not. No, it's too deep. Mental health is deep. And I'm like, I'm not deep. You know, I'm funny, not deep. and I never was able to start this YouTube channel that I kept saying I wanted to start, because God was like, nope, you're going to talk about mental health. And so an incident occurred in my life. Do you want me to share?
In a moment.
Okay.
Yes.
Incident occurred in my life, and the next thing you know, I did a Facebook Live. It was a gut-wrenching, snot-nosed crying, which I was not expecting to do any of that. It just happened. I was just sharing my story. I'm always transparent. I'm always sharing my stories. You know, I'm an open book. And I was sharing my story about my daughter, and the next thing I know, my phone was blowing up. Like,
really? I didn't know that part.
blowing up. I'm talking about blowing up. I'm from California, so them calls were coming from Cali. They were coming from Texas. They were coming from Alabama. They were coming from Georgia, and people were telling me their stories. People were all telling me their experience with mental health, whether it's with their child, their sister, their parent, their whatever, their ex-husband, their whatever. People started sharing all these stories. And so I'm like drained. I'm not a therapist, but I felt like one when I was done, because it was draining taking on everyone's story. And so I asked God, you know, what am I supposed to do with this? And so that's when I decided, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give into this mental health thing you keep saying you want me to talk about.
Right.
And that's how it started. But we ended up not doing YouTube. We ended up doing the podcast. Well, it streams on YouTube, but I'm just saying we didn't just do like a YouTube channel or just continue to do Facebook Lives and things like that. We decided to structure it and turn it into a podcast.
Wow. On my vision board, one of my sayings that I found a clip, and it said, making an income while making an impact.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Isn't it?
That's a good one. And, you know,
That's what you're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yes. I never seen that for myself. Like that was not my vision. This was not me. This was not my plan. This was not what I planned on doing. Not to say that I couldn't make any money or anything like that, having a YouTube channel or something. I just didn't plan on it coming out like this. This is not the plan. It wasn't my plan. Let's put it like that. It was God's plan. He knew, but it was my plan. This is not what Jacqui had planned for herself.
Spirit said, hey, no. We're going to go. You're going this way. It's fine. But come over here. We are going this way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I guess God knew, I don't want you on here talking mess about folks and their relationships and stuff anyway, being messy. I don't want you on here being messy. We got enough messiness going on. We need something that's, you know, that impacts people, that changes people's lives, that helps people. We just not going to have you on here acting a fool every week, even though he knows I can do that. But no, we're going to impact people's lives in a positive way. So that's what this has happened.
You know, I love that, because I talk to some of my podcast sisters and brothers and family. A lot of them, several has said that they had their vision was to the right, but Spirit led their vision to the left. But in the meantime, they were already gathering their followers, right?
Yep.
You get it?
Yep. Like I said, it shocks me every time someone says, girl, I watch you on Facebook, girl, you so funny. I'm like, y'all sat there and took your time to watch me? Like, what made you watch me? You know?
Yeah.
But God already knew. Let me go ahead and start creating her people. Let me start creating a flock for her.
Yes.
Get it going. And those same people are going to continue to, because even though the conversation is deep, my personality hasn't changed. I'm still the same. I'm still funny with it. I'm still me. So I didn't have to become. Only difference is I don't cuss as much as I usually do. That's the only difference. Only difference is I don't cuss, because I'm a cusser. So that's the only difference is I don't use and drop them bombs like I would typically.
That is hilarious. You know, that's funny. Ooh, I just thought about this. I don't cuss it. Nah, you know I am a cusser.
I'm a
But I
cusser too.
cuss more the audio on the audio podcast. I mean, I do hear sometimes, but
Not
I
too frequently.
I love that because I think I know because I've been this person when we talk about mental health that it is so, yeah, it is heavy, but it does not change us. I feel like it's another facet of us
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
people can see. And nothing's wrong with going deep because we walk around so much in our conscious mind. There's a lot going on subconsciously. So
Right.
there's nothing wrong with digging a little deeper and getting to know who you truly are.
Yes.
Like for real,
Like
who
for
you
real,
are.
for real. Mm-hmm.
Right.
This journey is really. I got my own therapist now. I have one of those before.
Girl, give me a high five. Give me a high five.
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Because, like I said, for one, the
Yeah.
topic is heavy, and I don't provide advice. I don't give you advice. I can only give you my opinion. And so when people are sharing their stories with me, it's a lot to take on because sometimes I see me in them. You remember healing is in the conversation, right? You know, I take that. I'm about to put that on a shirt. Healing is in the conversation, and I say it all the time. And sometimes when I'm listening to some of the guests on the show, I'm like, "Ooh, that sounds like me a little bit." You know, not that I'm self-diagnosing or anything like that, but I can relate, and it's heavy. So I had to find someone to dump my heaviness on, right? So I went and got me one. I went and got me a good one.
That is amazing. Doesn't it feel good to discharge?
Yes, I got me a Dr. Nicole, and Dr. Nicole makes teas and all kind of things like that. Or she's a herbalist as well. And so she creates, like, I'm having hot flashes right now, and the only reason why I'm having them is because I had to wait for her to create me something else to go with everything else I'm taking.
Right.
And so she has something for me to alleviate these hot flashes and my mood swing. She had to give me a mood booster, to improve my mood. Everything is natural.
Girl, give me that number.
I got you. She'll send me something in the mail.
Text me that number.
Yeah, she got me regular. I'm like, girl, you got me regular. She's one of those. She'll put you get in the lab and create you a little tea to go with whatever you got going on. And yeah, you just drink your little tea. She got me off caffeine. I didn't think anyone could ever get me off caffeine. She got me off caffeine.
Wow. I'm not a big caffeine person, but I tell her I need something for chocolate.
She might give you for that.
No, I'm serious.
She might give you something for that. But yeah, she's awesome. So yeah, so I got a therapist to help me, go through. We're actually moving out of the therapy part and more into the coaching part. Wow. Like life coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of in the life coaching phase. She's helping me with, of course, my grief, but she helps me through the life coaching phase of my life as well.
That's amazing.
Never seen that in my life before, but it's here.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you know what I love? Well, before I tell you what I love, why do you think talking about mental health or mental illness is so taboo in the Black community?
We are prideful people.
Yeah.
We are prideful people. And because our pride was stripped from us many years ago, during slavery and things like that, men, their pride was taken away. Women, being raped and things like that, men being beaten, the pride was taken away. So once we got into a part in our lives when we can actually stand up, the last thing we want is some stigma bringing us down. And so I think that we have carried that with us for so long that it's just completely shameful. But one thing I've learned so far is we're not the only ones who are ashamed of mental illness. We all just handle it different. Latinos are just like us. They're ashamed. They handle it different. Asians, you know, what we do is we just say, um, well, Uncle Woodrow, he just crazy. So we just let
Yeah.
Uncle Woodrow just be crazy, because that's just what he is. Latinos, they do the same thing. Uncle Pedro just crazy. We just let Uncle Pedro be crazy.
Or we
It,
say pray about it. I
pray
know
about
Black
it.
folks, and
Yeah.
that
It's
irritates me.
demon. We got demons, and then you have like Asians, they keep them people inside the house. They don't let them out,
We
right?
do too.
Well,
You know,
we do, but Asians tend to, they move their whole family in. We move our whole families in too, but they move their whole family in. White people, they put their people in hospitals, right? So
yeah.
so they don't have to be seen. They get,
Mhm.
special schools for their children and things like that. So they don't have to interact with all the other kids and stuff like that. So we all hide it. It's a stigma amongst all of our races, I believe. But I think for us, I just think that our pride was snatched up from us, that we don't want anything else making us look shameful to any other community.
Exactly. Yes. I agree with that. I think it's I think podcasts like ours and the other hundreds of thousands that are out there, I believe with the increase of these podcasts is what is going to, or actively decreasing the stigma, the destigmatization of mental health in our community.
Absolutely.
That's true strength to me. That's truly building a community. So that's why I always try to support other podcasts that's in
Absolutely.
alignment. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
I love it.
Also, now that celebrities are speaking out, I think Drake just was it Drake? No, not Drake. The Game, the rapper, The Game. He's supposed to be so hard and all this stuff, and it's a rapper from Cali, and he just came out talking about all the mental health things that have occurred in his life, where he's now
Really.
medication, he's seeing a therapist. So when you have,
Woo! I love
yes,
that. I
like
love that.
it's at some point you got to realize something ain't right. Like the way I've been doing things just doesn't work. And so I like when I see celebrities come out. I just recently saw a football player. His name is Darren Waller. He had a
Mhm.
lot of challenges before the NFL.
Mhm.
No one really wanted to take a chance on him, and the Raiders took a chance on him.
Mhm.
That's my team. That's how I know him.
The
But
Raiders.
look, and he's a cutie pie. And I just seen him do like a commercial, like an infomercial, talking about his own mental health challenges and how he's seeing a therapist. He's actually speaking for a company, a therapist company.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm like, I love to see how Lil Wayne. Oh,
Yes.
oh, gosh, his story. So Master P. Master
Yeah.
So when you start seeing people like that who was, so hard, I'm so tough, start talking about I might have been hard, it might have been tough, but guess what? It's something tougher that's going on inside of my brain and I want it fixed. Start
Yes.
seeing that, it helps us all so much. It helps us all so much.
It really does. So let's transition over into talking more about mental illness and the incident. I'm going to read a quote from psychiatry.org, and it asks, what is mental illness? And it says mental illnesses are health conditions involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior, or a combination of these. And mental illnesses are associated with distress and or problems functioning in social work or family activities. And did you know that mental illness is common? And in a given year, nearly 1 in 5, which is about 19% of the United States adults, experience some form of mental illness.
I'm sure.
1 in 24, which is 4.1%, has a serious mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 in 12, which is about 8.5%, has a diagnosable substance
Mm-hmm.
use disorder. But
Mm.
ultimately, mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a medical problem, and it's no different than having heart disease or
Absolutely.
diabetes or uh, hypertension, cancer, polycystic. I mean, you name it. It is no different.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about the incident that was a curveball in your life. We already know what direction we wanted. Jacqui wanted to go in the Wendy Williams direction,
She did.
but Spirit said, And then what happened? And whatever you feel comfortable talking about, I'm okay with whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
So mental illness came into our family about 5 years ago with my
Mm-hmm.
daughter. She started to display some kind of strange behavior, like when she was going off to college.
Mm-hmm.
But when she went to college, it completely came out. And she called and she was saying, oh, the FBI is tapping my phone, and the Christians upstairs are stomping, and I need a gun because my roommate's trying to kill me. So I knew something was wrong. So we went and picked her up, took her to the hospital. She was in Georgia. It's called 1013.
Mm.
So that's like a 48-hour, 72-hour hold, 48-hour to 72-hour hold that they do to evaluate you, to get you stable and get you back out, in society. And so we sent her to the hospital. Of course, everyone was like, she just needs to go to church.
Oh
She
my.
needs prayer. There's nothing wrong with her. And of course, she believed that as well. There's nothing wrong with me. Something might be wrong with all of you, but I don't need any medicine. But there's nothing wrong with me. And so, with that being said, because she refused to accept a diagnosis of bipolar, it got worse and worse and worse over the years. So for the
Mm-hmm.
past 5 years, she has gotten worse. So she has developed schizophrenia. She has this thing where she likes to run away to Miami with nothing, no job, no money, nowhere to live, no car. But she leaves with these grand ideas of, oh, I'm going to try out for the Miami Dolphins. Oh, I'm going to go I've got to go down there because I got a job at at Twin Peaks. I'm like, you got a Twin Peaks here. You're going all the way to Miami to go to Twin Peaks. So, like her thought process was just out of the ordinary. And so it was getting so bad to where, we have flown back and forth to Miami to she gets in crisis where she is delusional. She's seeing things. People are, after her. People are stealing from her. She has all these delusions and hallucinations and things that go on. And to add a side note to it, um, she smokes a lot of marijuana.
Okay.
So the THC in the marijuana that she is trying to just smoke doesn't work with any types of medication. So if you're taking medication, you can't smoke the marijuana. And so it was just like a battle. So she's been hospitalized within the last 2 years, at least 12 times, if not more. So she's been
Mm-hmm.
in every single mental health hospital in this metro Atlanta area, at least 12 times, and we never could get her any help. And her last stay was at Peachford, and she was released. And before she was released, the doctor said, I know she needs long-term care, but we
Oh,
just don't.
really?
Absolutely. He
Mm.
said, I was doing her a disservice by constantly having her 1013. She really just needs long-term care. But guess what? There isn't any. And the ones that you can find, I can't afford $30,000 for
Woo.
day. Some places have 10 beds, and there's like, a months and months long waiting list for those beds. Insurance might not cover this, might not cover that. I even went and got an additional insurance policy. So she has insurance on my job plus an additional policy to get her, to make sure she has insurance. Nothing worked. So moving forward, quick, the long story short, she got out of Peachford. She asked her dad if she can go to the store in his car, and she drove his car to Miami. I think that she was trying to come back north, but ended up going further southwest. She ended up going further south and ended up in Key Largo, Key West. And she was out there trying to sell his car. So of course, they were like, hey, something not right here. I'm in law enforcement. So, of course, law enforcement is always going to reach out to law enforcement. And they called me and I explained her story, what was going on with her. So they did what's called the Baker Act, which is the same thing as 1013. They put her in a hospital for 3 days. Her dad went down there and got her. On the way out of Key West, as soon as he hit the turnpike, she jumped out the car, took off running.
Now, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, jumped out the car, because I was trying to do a long story short,
Right.
Took off running. He went out looking for her. He was out there for like 2.5 hours trying to find her, couldn't find her. So he ended up making that 15.5-hour drive back up to Atlanta.
Without her?
Without her. He had to leave her because he couldn't find her. And of course, the police always say, oh, well, if she's not homicidal or suicidal, there's nothing we can do. We can't force her to go because she's an adult. She's 24 years old. But we have guardianship of her. So we did petition DeKalb County Court to get guardianship of her. So we do have guardianship of her, which didn't really help much. The only thing that helped was facilities could not deny disclosing the treatment plan that they were giving her because we were her guardians. But because she is an adult, if she said, well, I don't want them to know what's going on, then they can't tell us what's going on because of HIPAA laws and things like that.
Even if you're a guardian?
If you're a guardian, you don't have a choice. You got to give me the information.
Oh, okay. Right.
So they did give us, the information, and, we never were able to get her stabilized. That was the biggest thing. We were never able to get her somewhere where she can get stabilized. And so what ended up happening was she made her way up to Miami some kind of way. We knew that she was in crisis because she would call with this, she assumed a new identity. So her thing was, while she was, for the past few years, her dad and I are not her parents. She lives in Austin, Texas, and there was a fire. We kidnapped her and raised her as our own. So she doesn't believe that we're her parents. Her new name is Annabelle. And so, so we were dealing with all this psychosis and all this stuff going on.
Right.
And so she made her way back up to Miami, and we knew she was not well. But we couldn't, every time we would send her money, she said she wanted to come back to Georgia. She never would come back to Georgia. So we were just financing your lifestyle in Miami, right? So moving forward, she decided one day she was walking down the street. This is right before Memorial Weekend this year. She's walking down the street and she sees this record yard service. This guy left his car running, and she went and jumped in the car. He tried to stop her, and he was pulling on the door handle, and he fell. She ran him over, and he died from his injuries. So now she is in custody in Miami, and they charged her with second-degree murder, carjacking, and she gave that name Annabelle. And so false name, date of birth type situation. So I shared that story on Facebook. It was a lot longer than what I'm giving you. But I shared everything. And when I was telling that story, it was raw because the incident just occurred and I didn't know what to do. And so I was just crying and I just didn't know what to do.
Right.
And that's when I received all those phone calls like I was telling you about. And then God said, look, I've been telling you, you're going to talk about mental health. And so now, since you wouldn't do it on your own, we're going to use your daughter. We're going to use your daughter. So my daughter has been the vessel for a lot of things around us, around our family. She has been the vessel for it, And so I realized that the mental health system in Georgia is terrible. We are for like 49th in the country with providing services to people.
Are we? I didn't know that.
We are 49, number 49.
Wow.
And so I was like, God, what am I going to do with this? And so he gave me a vision. and he said, "You are on a mission. You're on a mission." I'm like, "I'm on a mission? Kind of, what, like a mission, like a world tour? What kind of mission you got me on? Like Tribe Called Quest world tour mission, or what kind of mission you about to put me on?" And he said, "You are going to open those facilities that denied your daughter.
Oh, wow.
You are going to learn to change legislation to where physicians are put in a position where they are able, without having to go through so many court hoops." That's the problem with keeping people. They have to go to court. And a lot of these physicians don't want to go to court to petition to say, "Hey, this person here needs longer term care." They don't want to do it. So it's easier to just let me go ahead and release them. And if you still have problems, call the police, have the police come out and see if they can 1013 them again, and then we'll start the process all over again.
And that 1013 doesn't always work out.
No.
As you know, what you do for a living.
Absolutely.
And what we see on the news, when there's a legitimate mental health crisis, it does not always.
No,
some people do not walk away alive.
No. Some people do not walk away alive, and you can't guarantee they're going to go back to that same facility so once you go to another facility, you got to start all over again. You got to start all over. So the person never receives the treatment they're supposed to receive. So God said, this is going to be your mission. You're going to open these facilities. You're going to open these facilities. You're going to start yourself a nonprofit. I'm like, a non who? What? Oh, 565 432B? What? What you talking about? Who? What's it called again? 501c3. I don't know about this type of stuff. I'm a company person. I get up and I go clock in daily. I'm a company person. I don't know about profits, non-profit, no profit, full profit, this profit. I don't know about that kind of stuff. But God said, this is what you're getting ready to do. So ever since that day, and I started receiving all those phone calls, I had one lady call me and she said, "The Holy Spirit told me to call you. I hope your people are praying people. The Holy Spirit told me to call you. And he said that you are going to meet people that are going to help you on your job, which is you, through Lisa Marie. You're going to don't tell me God ain't real, girl. You're going to meet God who is going to assist you with what you're doing." And she said, "Jacqui, you are on a mission for mental health."
What?
I don't wear pearls, but I sure clutched them.
I think we both clutched them just at the same time just now. We were like, what? Really?
God used people to convince me. He put people in my path. Not that I don't believe in God, not that I don't have faith or anything like that. It's just that he was putting confirmations in my path to let me know this is real and this is what's getting ready to happen. This is what you're getting ready to do. And in the end, give God all the glory, because that's who deserves it,
Right.
And that's how this baby, as you called it, this is how I birthed this baby. Didn't ask for it, wasn't looking for it, but that's how this came about. All this through my daughter. And also it helps me cope when I know I'm helping other people heal. When we're healing through in these conversations, it helps me cope with my daughter's situation, because it's a hard one. I'm in law enforcement. I did any and everything I could to keep these kids protected from the law. And this particular situation right here, there is absolutely nothing I can do. Nothing.
Wow. How does that make you feel when there's that sense of loss of control? Just, I've tried, but I cannot do anything. It's out of my control.
It's out of my control. And that's how the therapist helps, because it's a grieving process, for one.
It is. You're gonna make me cry.
Don't cry, because you're gonna make me cry and I put makeup on. It's a grieving process for one.
Yeah.
And for two, I have been in control of every situation for so long. I've been in law enforcement since 1997. So
Wow.
I've been telling people what to do. You can do it my way or another way, but it's getting done.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in control for years. I've never been in a position of something that I can't control. So it was frustrating me. It was tormenting me because
Mm.
I could not call anyone or anything or anybody to fix this. I fix everything.
Wow.
I fix and you can ask I got 5 kids and a grandson. And you can ask every single one of them. I have fixed everything. And that probably is not a good thing, as a parent, because they
Right.
can't learn as long as I'm there to fix it. They can't call on the Lord when they need to because their mama is always there to fix it.
Mm.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but
Speaking of your, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Speaking of your kids, I encourage everyone to look at Jacqui's YouTube channel. Her first episode, oh, talk about crying. I was I was shedding some tears
Yeah.
because Jacqui had her kids on as her guests. And when you asked them each how did they feel, look, I'm about to start crying now.
So I've chosen to have them as my first guest because I know this situation has impacted them as well. And I wanted to give them an opportunity to share whatever they wanted to share, say whatever they wanted to say without
Hmm.
without helicopter mama all in the way.
And you did so well. You let them express,
Mm-hmm.
and they spoke from the heart. It was touching.
They did,
Yeah.
and they surprised me because I didn't know. I actually learned some things about them that I didn't know. I didn't realize they were like me. I used to tell everyone none of my kids act like me. My kids they're so reserved and all this stuff. I'm loud wherever I go. People know when you wear red hair like this and walk in a room, people are expecting, oh my God, that thing right there, she loud.
Right,
But
right.
my kids are not loud like that. But they are a lot like me because they love letting people tell them things about themselves.
I remember your
And
son said that. The one who's a barber in college.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know that. Even my oldest son, Ortega, he said the same thing. People are always coming to me telling me their problems, like he's a fixer. And I was like, I did not know that you guys did, that's me, you know.
Hmm.
But I wanted to let them share their experience of what it was like because I wanted people to see that their sister grew up normal. She grew up just like them, just getting in trouble like they get in trouble, just mischievous, typical typical kid, typical teenager. And that you'll hear them say she was the smartest.
Yes, I caught that.
She was the smart.
Effortlessly smart.
Yep. And so they expected her to go on and do great things. They did not expect her to have this occur. So I wanted people to see that your life can go great. Like everything's fine. You are planning for all of your kids to graduate and go off to college and do great things and get out your house and graduate from college, get married, have kids. Like once they graduate from high school, you're like, whew, whew, I did it. And then you just expect them to go on and do great things from there with a couple bumps in the road because they're still young.
Right.
But no one saw this coming. No one saw this coming. So I wanted people to see that that mental illness can affect a home at any time.
Hmm.
And it could be your smartest kid. It can happen to any of us at any time. And not only can it happen to any of your kids at any time, but it can also happen to us at
Oh,
any
yeah.
time. at
Absolutely.
any time. I felt like I was going to have a mental breakdown when this
Mm.
happened to me because I felt betrayed. And
What do you mean by that?
I
Betrayed.
felt that I did everything right. I wasn't perfect, but I did everything right. Everything. I sacrificed so much and I
Mm.
did so much, and this is what happens this is what happens. So I felt betrayed. Like I worked too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I worked too hard. And now I got to deal with this.
Right, right.
I got to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. So
Mm.
I felt betrayed.
Did you
And
feel
so
betrayed by God, by your daughter, just by life, spirit?
just by life. Like
Yeah.
how could this happen to me? And I remember hearing, I have a few girlfriends that I grew up with, and they
Mm-hmm.
were telling stories about their children and their mental illnesses and all the things that they're going through, and I was just like, whew, yeah, I'm gonna sit here and listen, but oh God, I'm so glad that's not me. Whew,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that's not me. And guess what? It's me. It's
Yeah.
me. And
Yes.
so it took I thought I was going to lose it.
Mm.
I thought I was going to lose it. I really did.
Kudos to you for gaining your own tools and seeking therapy, because we're not perfect, and especially with Black women, I know we are card carrying members of a super Black woman, and we fix and do everything, but
Hmm.
how that's a lot to carry. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm very proud of you that you
Thank you.
have. That is amazing. And now we're healing out loud, right?
Right. Some people said, how could you how could you be so open like that? Like how could you just I could never do that. You know,
Mhm.
and I said, in order for me to heal and get past this, I have to talk about it because
Mm.
I don't want to do it by myself. And I
Woo!
know that some of y'all are out there going through what I'm going through. And I don't want to
Yeah,
do it by myself. So in order to get help from y'all, I gotta tell you.
exactly. We all live a lot of parallel lives. I told you this, maybe I told you or not. I was listening to this podcast, and it was a comedian, and she had another comedian on the show, and the host, she is very much a mental health advocate, and she was sharing, or her guest was sharing, how when she was younger that she was kidnapped,
Yes.
and she told her story, and the same thing like you, people started reaching out to her, people she did not know, they were DMing her, inboxing her, and they were saying they experienced the same thing, and that they hate that that happened to her. However, they feel good knowing that they were not the only
Not by the
person.
yes.
Yeah, they were not by themselves. They were not the only person. Because who? I mean, I don't know anyone who's been kidnapped, but apparently it opened a floodgate when
Yeah.
that comedian had mentioned that. And the people were saying who inboxed her, they felt so much better just to get it off of their chest.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a question for you. One of our listeners, she wants to know, why did they lock your daughter up in prison instead of putting her in an institution for her mental illness?
Good question. So
Thank you, Patrice, for your question.
thank you, Patrice. So this is new. She was just recently arrested right before Memorial Day.
This year.
So yes. So she's not in prison as of yet. She's at the, county jail. She's been charged. She's been formally charged.
Oh,
Um,
she has.
yes, she has been
Oh,
formally
okay.
charged. I mean, they're serious. It's a serious crime. you know, someone lost their life. But because right now they're trying to see if she's competent enough for trial or not. So that's like a whole process that they have to do. So she's not in prison just yet. And we don't know what the end is going to be. We don't know what they're, we don't know right now. All we know is she's arrested and charged, and they're trying to determine if she's competent enough for trial or not.
So while she is there, can she still receive treatment to at least get her competent? Even if she, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's, jails are funny.
Your audio sounds impeccable, by the way.
It does?
Now, yes. But go ahead.
Oh my God, because I just plugged in my charger and lifted it up. Maybe my microphone was low.
Ah.
We didn't plan on using this iPad initially. So
that's what it is then.
Yeah. So basically, Ursula, what did you just ask me?
While she's locked up, with them giving her treatment to have her become competent, or
so
wait, excuse me. And do they have to force it on her? I don't know how this works.
Yep. So let me tell you. All right. So in the county jail, she can refuse medication.
What?
Yes. So if you have someone who believes that nothing is wrong with them, they don't need medicine, they ain't gonna take it. And the county jail doesn't force it. Now, if she is deemed incompetent by the court, they will send her to a hospital. They'll send anybody. So if the court deems a person incompetent, they will send them to a hospital. And at that time, you are forced. You got to take the medication. You got to go with the program. And the goal is to get you competent enough to understand what you're being charged with. Once you're at that point, they'll bring you back to the jail to face the charges.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you go from there. So it just depends on, for one, what you're charged with. And, for two, how long is it going to take for you to become competent? We don't know.
I'm not in the medical field. I'm not a therapist. I'm not in law enforcement. Anyone who's in either of those fields, please DM me, inbox me, something. I need to know, how does that work with a patient if they are clearly incompetent? Not saying your daughter, I'm talking about anyone that's incarcerated, for them to refuse medication, but they are mentally incompetent. So make it make sense for me. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it's very challenging.
We need to ask Nicole, not your therapist, Nicole, our mutual friend, Nicole.
Yeah, it's
maybe she may know.
It's it's a tricky thing, because you have to go through several evaluations before a judge is willing to grant you to be incompetent. Otherwise you'll have people trying to take advantage of the system all the time.
Right.
So you receive several evaluations before the judge says, okay, we'll go ahead and say that this person is incompetent and get them, sent to a hospital to get competent. So they may not agree with the charges. They may feel, hey, I didn't do it. Whatever the case may be. The goal is you need to be able to understand them.
Exactly.
You just have to be able to understand them. You're not there to say, oh, I'm innocent. Oh, I'm guilty. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I didn't do it. You have to be able to, because if a court proceeds and you are not competent, they can come back and win on an appeal.
Really?
Yes. So a person will be able to appeal that conviction if they're convicted. But they had a trial without this person being competent. So no judge wants that. No judge wants that. So they're going to do whatever it is they need to do to ensure that court is so-called fair.
So while a person is incarcerated, do they keep them in general population, or do they have a certain a special sector where they live?
Yes.
I will hope so.
Yes. So they do have mental health floors, mental health living,
Good.
living areas. What I don't like about um, Miami's mental health is she receives no mail, no commissary. She's out 1 hour a day. It's kind of like you're being punished for having mental health, because
What?
if you're on the regular floors, you're out all the time. You get your mail, you get your commissary, you get everything you want, need, and but because you have mental illness, they say for your safety that um yeah, that you can't receive anything.
See, now I'm very curious about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to have a sidebar conversation.
Yeah.
There's so many.
I sent her a card every week. And
Nice.
I just recently got one back, and it said that level 1 and level 2 inmates cannot receive mail for their safety. So I don't know what they can do with paper. Eat it? I don't know. Um,
Maybe if maybe the words on it can be triggering, but I'm sure they read the mail.
they
You would
read
know
the
that.
mail. Yeah, they read the mail. That's how we know. They read the mail, or at least skim the mail. Look for keywords. Uh,
Right.
yeah.
Patrice said, "Wow, that's
Very
unbelievable."
much so. I've only heard from her one time since she's been there. Um,
Wow.
but my daughter was very manipulative. She was very manipulative. So I feel like, she said I wasn't her mom. So you were calling me though when you wanted something, when you wanted money,
Mm.
and when you wanted some money, then Annabelle's calling me. You know,
Mm.
but when she doesn't need anything, she's not calling me. So I'm wondering, if she's just choosing, I just don't want to call. She's not my mom. I'm not calling her.
So because you all are her guardians while she's going through her mental evaluations, are her therapists allowed to give you and your husband updates? How does that,
So
if you want to answer
no,
that?
I have no problem, and I'm laughing because I don't think she has a therapist. They have a social worker in the jail. Um,
Okay, or social worker. Yeah, I wasn't sure which
yeah.
term I should use. But she has someone, whoever is evaluating her, are they able or can they contact you and your husband?
So they they don't. What we do,
What?
what we've had to do is,
Damn.
yeah, what we've had to do is reach out to the chaplain and to the courts to let them know we have court order guardianship. She's like having a minor in your custody.
Right.
So whatever goes down, you need to let me know. And so now it's at a point where, like, even the public defender's office, they were like, if you don't send us that paperwork, we're not telling you anything. She's an adult. So we sent them the court order, sent them the court order, and then the public defender started reaching out to us. Yeah. So now
Ooh.
people know, oh, they have guardianship of her. Yeah, we need to go ahead and communicate things that need to be communicated. But we don't get like daily updates or anything like that. I can call down there and speak with like the chaplain or something like that, and they'll call me back. Just, and usually I'll call like once every few weeks just to see, how is she? Is she eating? Is she sleeping? I know they can't tell me a whole lot, but
Mhm.
physically, is she okay? Mentally, I already know she's not, but physically, is
Mhm.
she okay? And he'll get back to me and tell me, yeah, physically she's okay, mentally not so much.
Right. And how old is she? You said 24? 24.
24.
24. She's the oldest, or was your son the oldest?
I have an oldest son, he's 32.
Right.
Then she's 24. Then the twins, they'll be 23 on the 17th. And then I got a 14-year-old.
Oh, so they really are twins. I thought you all were joking when you said, and then the twins.
Yeah, so the twin girl
Oh,
that was sitting with me, and then
your
the Barbara
twin.
boy, they are twins. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. The intuitive son.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
did not know that. I thought you all were just joking.
No.
Okay.
Our twin. Those two are twins. T and Tyson are twins. And then, my oldest, and then India, and then the baby. She's 14.
Right. Um, I want to pull up this graphic. We're both blind. We can't, but I'm
Right.
gonna try
Yeah,
to
I'm
make
on the
it
phone. You see?
as big as possible. How there are some. Can you see?
I can.
Okay. Well, let me do one more thing. Some of it is cut off, but these are signs. These are just some signs. Remember, people, we are not therapists,
Hmm.
but some of these signs are familiar. These are common signs of mental illness, and diagnosing mental illness isn't a straightforward science. We can't test it for it the same way we can test blood sugar levels for diabetes, but each condition has its own set of unique symptoms, and those symptoms overlap.
Right.
Common signs and or symptoms can include feeling very sad or withdrawn for more than 2 weeks. Uh, that was me. I've suffered, battled with depression. So this is very real. Trying to harm or end one's life or making plans to do so. Severe, out of control, risk taking behavior that causes harm to self or others. Sudden, overwhelming fear for no reason. Did you want to read the other side if you can?
Seeing, hearing, and believing things that aren't real. So my daughter did experience that.
Mm,
Excessive use of alcohol or drugs. My daughter experienced that. Drastic changes in mood, behavior, personality, or sleeping habits. One thing about her, because she's diagnosed with bipolar, she
mm,
had the mania side of the bipolar. So
mm.
her, yes. So her mood changed all the time. One minute she was, "Hi, mommy, I love you," and then it's like, "F you, B, you ain't my."
Right,
Yeah. She never slept. She would stay up for all night long, hours and hours and hours, so that she never slept. Extreme difficulty concentrating and staying still. She obviously could not stay still because she constantly ran to Miami, even during the pandemic. She
did
was
she
always,
really?
absolutely, because the flights were so cheap during the pandemic, like
Mm-hmm.
$30 flights to Miami, and she was constantly flying back and forth here and there, just erratic behavior. So
Right,
definitely, she fits at least 7 of those things on that list.
right.
Hmm.
Wow. So this is a lot. I want to share one other comment. Patrice said, "Thanks for sharing your story. We as Black people can no longer hide the mental illness that plagues our community."
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that Black folk want you to pray about everything. Pray it away.
Everything.
Sorry, you can't.
Can
Yeah, you
right away.
definitely pray, but that's what doctors are in line for. That's what
I tell people,
therapists are
like,
for.
you don't ask them to pray the diabetes away. You just go home and stick yourself with that insulin.
Can you say it again for the people in the back,
Yes,
ma'am?
you don't,
Please.
you don't pray the diabetes away. You just, if the doctor says, "Oh, you got diabetes, and in order for you to live, you're gonna have to shoot yourself with this insulin," you go home, don't question it, don't do any research on it. You just tell everybody, "I got the sugar." And they folks say, "I got the sugar."
Girl,
And you
not the
go home
sugar.
and go home and stick yourself with that juice in your stomach, knowing you in there petrified, trying to get everybody and their mama to stick you with that needle because you can't do it, but you'll do it, right?
You said the
Because
sugar.
because the doctor said you got the sugar, right? You'll do everything that you need to do for it. But once
Oh,
the doctor says, "Oh my gosh, you just got a little chemical imbalance going on in your brain," but guess what? We can fix it. We can fix it.
exactly.
And then it's
Exactly.
like, "Oh no, oh no, there's nothing wrong with my brain. Oh no, 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 no." What's
This
the
sounds
difference?
so familiar.
What's the difference? What's the doggone difference?
Yeah. I'll admit, I will say this. First time on air, I've been that person. And when I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I just knew something, I just felt off. And so talking to my therapist, and she suggested about, maybe you may want to try some medication. And little did I know I was depressed. But after taking the medication, and I don't know what the correct term is, it regulated me. And
Yeah, leveled that stuff out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It leveled me off, and now I have a clearer head. And I get it when people say, "Oh, it's gonna change me." No one ever knew that I was taking medication for my depression, but
Right.
I was still healing at the same time. And
Yes.
I feel so much better. And there's been some side effects as far as, well, with me it was the weight gain, but I was I was actually talking to one of my friends about it when I first started a couple years ago, and she said, "Wow, that's something that you knew that could have been a possibility about the weight gain. However, my peace of mind and my well-being is so much better. It was
Absolutely.
worth it. It was so worth it."
Absolutely.
And just like Patrice said, the brain gets sick like any other part of your body.
Yeah. Yeah. But our community, we're quick to, oh no, oh no, oh no.
Yeah, we got to do better. We
We
got
do
to
have
do
to
better
do
as a
better.
community.
Remember,
We're getting better, but there's always room for improvement.
yeah, we still have a long way to go.
We
And
do.
you get the fact that, my daughter used to say that the medication, it slowed her down. Like
And it probably
she didn't
did.
like, but that's how you're supposed to be. Like she didn't
Right.
like that feeling of being slowed down. She liked the go, 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 go feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But the go, go, go is not normal. And she just didn't like being slowed down.
Yeah. Another thing I tell people, if medication makes you feel off, whatever that off means, that's when we have those weekly, monthly, I forgot how often I went in, but to get it titrated, meaning have them tweak it.
Adjust it.
Yeah, adjust it, tweak it,
Yeah.
adjust it so that it can. And it's no different than finding buying some shoes. It feels good, but I don't really like how it makes me feel. Let me get a size bigger. You
Yeah.
tweak the size and now it fits perfect. And same thing with finding a therapist, because not everybody is gonna judge. Girl, shit, I had a therapist fall asleep during our session. This was a long time ago.
Girl, I'd have been so mad.
I wanted to kick the goddamn table over.
Yeah. I would
I
have been so
was pissed
like,
off. But it just wasn't a good click. But I kept going. When I say I kept going, I found another
found
therapist,
another.
and
Hmm.
and my therapist and my coaches, they're mwah,
Yeah.
great fit.
I've been through tons of blood pressure medicines.
Mm,
One of them had my heart racing and everything. I was like, what's it was dropping my pressure too low. We
ooh.
had to get rid of that one. I didn't know what it was. And then we had one that made you cough all the time. Like she always just coughing. And I heard about, just in a conversation, I heard someone talking about that particular medication with their dad and how it made them cough. And I was like, darn, that might be me. So,
Mm,
I've gone through, I finally have one that works, but I've also gone through the dosage amount of it.
mm.
Sometimes it was too high, so they had to take it down a little bit, because it was dropping my pressure too low. And then one time it wasn't strong enough. So it took some time to get it regulated. Same
Right.
thing with mental health medication. Like any medication is not always guaranteed to work on the first go around.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Sometimes you got to swap them out. And the good part about it is now that they have so many to choose from. Back in the day, I remember a time when my mother was in the bed, like couldn't get out the bed for like a long
Mm.
time. Didn't know what was wrong with her, but to me, I was like, shh, let her stay in the bed so I can run these streets. But come to find out, she was going through a bout of depression, and back at that time, the only medication was Prozac. Prozac. So we've come a long way from the Prozac days.
Right.
So several to choose from. You just have to find what works for you. Mental health is a tricky thing. The brain is such an amazing organ in our body, and mental health is just a tricky thing, but we just can't act like it's not there. Like
we can't. I mean, you can, but sometimes the consequences aren't the most favorable, whether if it's something as severe as what your daughter has going through, or something on a smaller scale. It's still not favorable.
Yeah.
But kudos to people who have taken agency over their mental health and wellness.
Yes.
And kudos for you for being on a mission for mental health.
So much.
I love it. Let me drop that link. I definitely encourage people to go back. I'll put the link in the show description. I had a lovely guest named Tony, and she had been diagnosed with bipolar, I think type 2. And she told her story, and it was so powerful. It was very powerful. Her story is powerful. So I am definitely going to share that in the show description notes. Also, everyone, please subscribe to Jacqui's page. I dropped the link in the show description box, so
yes, please
you can see. Yes, and subscribe. Subscribe to her channel.
Subscribe, like, and share, so I can build this thing and really put all of my time into my vision that God gave me to open these facilities. These facilities are coming.
Absolutely. And it is. And I would love for you to be a guest again.
Yes.
You're always a pleasure to talk to. And everyone, if you found any of the content tonight was something that made your soul vibrate, and if you wanted to support my channel, definitely like, comment, share, subscribe so that we can get these YouTube analytics up. And I also dropped the link to buy me a coffee. So if you would love to support the channel and you'd like to buy me a coffee, I dropped the link, and you can buy me a coffee or 5 or more, and it will help support all the content creation that I make in the honeycomb. I call my podcast area the honeycomb. So any last parting words?
Well, absolutely. If you are feeling some kind of way, if something feels off, something feels abnormal, if people are telling you, hey, you're not being yourself, seek some treatment for something, for yourself. Get some healing. It'll make you feel better. Healing is in the conversation. If you just need to talk to somebody, just talk to somebody. It helps so much.
Indeed, it does. Jacqui, thank you so much for sharing your story. It was powerful, impactful, and we're all going to pray for you and your family, and definitely pray for your daughter.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because this is beyond her control, and you're a great mom. You're really climbing mountains very fast. Very impressed.
Godspeed, though. Yes. So much.
Thank you for coming in. Everyone, all my listeners, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Make sure, please, again, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next week. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss God is heavenly order. levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting